The definition of an ultra-high net worth individual is a person who's worth more than 30 million US dollars. But you have 500,000 of those people in the world, and they could be worth 30 million, a billion, 10 billion, but they don't have the mindset to actually spend the money on flying on a private aircraft. So I coined the term the ultra-high jet worth individual, which is somebody who has the financial capability, but actually has the mindset, in addition to that, to spend the money on the quality of life and fly privately. I started learning how to fly when I was 14 years old from a friend's older brother took me up for an airplane ride, and I fell in love with it, and then I ended up going into university to get a degree in aeronautical studies. And then I became a lobbyist on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. to represent the airplane manufacturers. 80% of all the jets were in America, and 19% of the jets were in Europe, and there was 1% in the rest of the world. I left the aircraft industry for quite a while, and I got into the mergers and acquisitions and private equity, corporate takeovers things for about 20 years. When I came back into the industry, the whole demographic distribution of the corporate jet ownership has changed. So I wanted to come up with a crazy idea. How do I get these clients to come and see me? So I asked about 10 people the idea I had about building a showroom and getting a client to come to talk to us about buying a jet. Pretty much everybody told me that I should check into a psychiatric hospital, that, you know, to open up a shop to sell jets was the most ridiculous thing they ever heard. But of course, everything is a crazy idea the day before somebody actually does it. And so I came up with an idea. I'm going to build a showroom. And in that showroom, not only do you have to have something fancy in the window to get them in, but once you get them in, you need to have technology. So I created this app. So the app that we developed actually has a few different angles, but the main things that we do is, first of all, we ask them where they come from, because we could put the app in the currency that they think in. Of course, everybody thinks in dollars, even if they come from another country, but you still have to convert in your head. And one thing we don't want people to do is to have their brain doing anything other than taking in the information we're trying to teach them. The second thing is, do they think in metric or do they think in imperial? So some people feel better in meters, some people feel better in feet or kilometers. So we basically changed the app so that it really is bespoke and custom for the way they think. And then when we take them through the process, it's much easier to take them through it. Because all airplanes are actually priced in US dollars globally. So if you don't think that way and you're converting, I don't want you to be off 5 or 10% in your calculation, because it could be an expensive difference if you are talking about millions of dollars. So once we get the app conditioned to the way you think, then we take them through a process. There's 146 different aircraft models that you could pick from that trade in the world today. Not airplanes for sale, but just different models. So what we need to do is we need to filter out all the airplanes that don't meet your needs. So the first question is what's the maximum budget you want to spend? So if you say, I want to spend 25 million pounds or euros or whatever, it takes out from 146 airplanes, and maybe it goes down to 100 airplanes. And then the next question is, okay, what's the oldest airplane that you're willing to buy? So if I want the maximum age of 10 years, put that into the app, and all of a sudden it reduces now from 100 to 70. And then we say, okay, how many passengers do you want to carry maximum? So let's say I want to have the ability to carry 12. Okay, we push 12 in there, and now it's down to 30 airplanes. So under 25 million euros, under 12 years old, able to carry 12. Now we're down to 25 or 30 airplanes. The final question is what is the longest trip that you need to take 4 or 5 times a year? So we put that trip in from London to Dubai, or to Delhi, or to New York, or whatever it is, and it shows on the map the trip and the distance. So now we're narrowed down to maybe 20 airplanes. So if you have 20 to pick from, that's a lot of models to pick from. So I asked them, what's more important? If you want to spend less money, we can reduce the budget. We can make it longer range. We can make it newer, and get it down to about 3 or 4 different airplanes. Then, once we get those, We compare them on the screen, full size. The floor plan, one on top of the other, so you can see how wide one is compared to the other. Cross section, so you can see how tall one is to the other. You can see the aisle width, one is to the other. And you can compare them all so you can see what's more important to you. Do you need height, width, length, range? You can go to the operating costs, how much one costs versus the other. You can look at how much baggage capability one has versus the other. For the pilots, they want to know runway length, capabilities, altitude, even the cabin altitude of the airplane. It's a much more comfortable feel if you have a lower cabin altitude in an airplane. So there's a myriad of different pressure points, touch points, that people really don't know they need to ask until we actually take them through the app. Stop apologizing for your success. Buy a jet.